Hello everyone, and welcome to an episode of Extinctions. Today we're going to be talking about how creatures can become extinct, and we're going to hear some very sad true stories about creatures who already have become extinct. We'll also hear about how to help creatures who may or may not be becoming extinct. This also includes Barry Manilow's career. Sad to say, but yes, it does. We'll start off by telling you the ways about how a creature can become extinct. 1. Its populations may be overhunted, and, well, the creature may be left with no other creatures to breed with. Therefore, the creature will become extinct by default. Second of all, a creature may be unable to adapt to, well, whatever life has thrown at it. In this case, we'll be using the quagga. We'll also be talking about how a creature may or may not be able to survive after a natural disaster, in the case of the saber-toothed tiger. We'll also be finding out about how a creature is just stupid enough to make its population bigger than its food source, in the example of the Irish deer. So, let's start off, shall we? You see, the dodo, years and years ago, was the perfect textbook of overhunting. You see, the dodo lived quietly and peacefully on an island in the Atlantic, with no natural predators, and it didn't have the ability to fly. One day, Dutch settlers came upon the island, and they marked its beaches with their wooden shoes, and then they saw the dodo. Now, the dodo had no natural predators beforehand, and didn't really know how to defend itself. So, it was overhunted. There was dodo meat distributed to everyone, and the dodo's population diminished extremely. The dodo couldn't recover from these population decreases, and, well, it became extinct. We now use the phrase, dead as a dodo, in remembrance of these poor little birds. Up next on our list, we have the story of the quagga. The quagga was a very interesting creature that was half horse, half zebra. It lived in this area of South Africa and was very, very prized for its furs. Now, overpopulation didn't happen to this poor creature. Neither did overhunting. You see, some people wanted quagga farms. That way they'd be able to farm the equus quagga for its beautiful furs. But that couldn't happen. The quagga didn't adapt to farm life very well, and so it killed itself off by the inability to adapt. Some people put it in zoos, such as the Artis Magisterium Zoo in Amsterdam, Denmark. This zoo is the last place that the quagga called home. The last quagga died there on August 12th in 1883. We also have an interesting creature called the Irish deer that killed itself off due to the fact that its population was larger than its food source. These were very, very big deer, and they had quite an appetite. You see, how big they are, well, it differed on their age, but they would get very large. And with an appetite, well, like that of a professional wrestler, they ate and ate and ate through acres of land in weeks. They also bred very quickly. Rabbits can't even cover how fast they bred. That is how quickly these creatures bred. Their populations would get so big, that way they couldn't cover a population with food. They had already eaten across their land, and it didn't work out too well. The last known Irish deer died out in the year 5700 BC. This is before we came along. Go figure. The last one I'll mention on my list was killed off by the Ice Age. It was a saber-toothed tiger, as seen on cover. The saber-toothed tiger was a creature that, well, while very well adapted to the cold conditions of the Ice Age, after the big chill, not meltdown, but, big thaw, my science's word, not mine, it couldn't adapt to the fact that the earth was getting warmer. Its fur coat was still quite thick, and it couldn't totally adapt after that natural disaster. So, it died. What I'd like to mention lastly is how we can save these beautiful creatures that may or may not be becoming extinct, such as the panda, the African lion, and Barry Manilow's career. Some of these creatures may be killed due to overhunting, which can be simply solved with adding licenses or more ethical hunting practices. They should also put stricter limits on fur, because if you know, most animals are killed for their fur or ivory, as in the case of elephants, which are making a comeback, I'm happy to say. Another thing that can really help is breeding programs. There is currently a reserve in, I think, Kenya that is breeding the African lion and bringing it back from its very near brink of extinction. You see, the African lion was hunted not only for its fur, but because it was getting into people's farms. And the people in that area were like, oh no, we need our farms. So they killed off a good majority of the lions, and they were quite nearing extinction. Another way we can bring back these creatures is through your help. Only you can help save wild animals, as only you can help prevent forest fires. Thank you very much for listening to my to my presentation on extinct animals. Thanks for watching!